Morning. Okay.
All right. Hello, everyone.
Hey, hi, Louis. You should have the presentation permissions.
Cool. All right. I see it. Hmm. Right. Well, wait 2 more minutes and then we can get started. Okay, 10:04. I think we can get started. So, anyone have any questions, anything like they want to discuss, please feel free to put it in the chat as you come through. If you have any questions and you want to present or something you run into, you can feel free to share your screen and we can walk through them as well. So, this is your time, and I'm definitely here to support.
Louis,
Yes.
can I ask you like one basic question about these agents and stuff, right? Um, so most companies, the way how they're using all these AI agents is them building up multiple AI agents and connecting them to the respective MCP servers, right? Which exposes them to lots of tools. So, how do you use how do you actually go about testing these agents and stuff? um
Very good question. So, I can tell you right now, so I work in consulting, right? So I'm pulled into different projects and different
okay.
companies, and they say, "Hey, we're working on an agent framework. We messed up. We don't know what to do." Or they say, "Well, how do I integrate this? How do I make this?" And they're either on AWS, they're on Azure, and I'm going to tell you right now, half of them don't know what they're doing.
Okay.
There's a bunch of people who are who think like they were assigned to be AI because they're AI. They saw that you could do this doing once in I forget Lovable or whatever basic framework they were able to see it, and they're like, "Well, I want this. I want this to be done." I thought it was going to be super easy, but they don't realize that agents are only as good as you evaluate them, and how do you keep a good pulse on them? Um, how do you ensure that whatever you're doing is repeatable and reliable, right? So it comes down to agent governance and ensuring that you have something that's transparent and you're able to measure, or else, if especially for in a very highly regulated industry, if you can't show the decisions of why your agents are taking this decision, you're gonna have a hard time justifying this to your industry and to the people who are asking you to say why. Are you sure AI is not biased at all? So there's a couple of things um,
Mhm.
that you can really look on, and it really depends on um, what software you have.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna walk you through one. One of them I like is on Databricks, and Databricks has a free version. I'm going to be talking about that in week 6. Walking through how to get a free version, how to create and build deploy models, and the most important part, how to evaluate on that. So let me see if I can pull up an example of how they do evaluations and how you're supposed to look at that way. So let me see here. Okay, so I'll share my screen. Okay, so this is Azure slash Databricks, and you have an agent built out. And they use something called MLflow. And MLflow is a way to do traceability. MLflow is a way to look at what are the different steps inside an agent chat or a chat history, a chatbot that's happening as well. And then you do something called a golden data set, which looks at all the expected behaviors of a chatbot or an agent. When you have all the expected behaviors and you built out your good golden data set, you run LLM as a judge, and you have different metrics and scores. For example, this one here is someone, I think this example here in this image, someone put in my agent, and they wanted different ways of if it's able to pull in the right information from the certain areas. What method can you query, right? So this one, they're saying this one fails. It wasn't correct at all. It didn't have enough context. But was it grounded? Yes. Did it have anything bad? Yes. Like, and not anything bad, right? So there's different metrics you can add to judge your LM model. It's not always just 1 + 1 is equal to 2. And with LLMs, you have to say, was it grounded? Was it safe? Did it hallucinate? Did it say anything it shouldn't say? Was it biased? Did it go through the right flow? And if it did go through the right flow, did it pull the right information out? You have to add these type of metrics to your AI agent as you build up your golden data set to really evaluate how well your model is doing. If you don't have a good foundation, you don't have a good golden data set, it's gonna be really hard for you to just have your agent and like, oh, I think it's doing good. No, you need at least hundreds of examples and run it in an automated pipeline to see how well it's doing. And the good thing about having this then automated and built out, you can say, hey, I used Cloud Sonnet 3.7 and it gave me 68% overall on my questions. But when I switched it to Cloud Sonnet 4.0, it jumped up to 76%. Or I jumped it to Azure OpenAI 8.6, then you can see how different models can affect your agent and how it's really smart and how it can actually use more context. So once you start having a way to evaluate your agent and evaluate the responses and evaluate your flows, it's easy then to say, I wonder if I add this extra part, add more prompt engineering, could I get a really better result? Would it make a more negative effect or more positive effect? So that's the only thing that you need to think about as you sit down and you build out your AI agent. What is that golden data set? How does that look like? Um,
Okay. The golden data set is something like, for example, if you take any website, they all have a help a page, right? So if you can, so if you're building an agent for that, then that becomes your golden data set. Help and
it depends. So example, like, if you can give me one specific use case, I'll guide you.
So let's say I have my chatbot has integration with Google, and it has integration with Bamboo, any CI tool, right? Um, and then another agent is Jira. So it has several things available. But so when I enter a prompt, it should identify the correct tool, whether it should go to Jira or Bamboo or Confluence or Google. So then and it can have variable answers. So for example, if I say if I ask like uh, how um, how many issues were reported today, so that means it should go to Jira and it will have a variable answer. So how do I make sure that this is um, it is actually giving me the right answer, both in terms of like static and dynamic um,
Yeah, so there's
aspect?
there's two ways to do your golden data set. One is contact intention. We would call it intent. So you
Mhm.
would have to say, let's say you list out 50 questions and say, if I ask any of these 50 questions, it should go to my Jira. If I ask these type of 50 questions, it should go to my Google Sheets. If I ask these type of questions, it should go here, right? So then you
Yes.
have question, expected response, and then you run that through your LLM, like where does it go in that flow?
Okay.
And
So
then
it's basically like you have an intent classifier, right?
yes,
So which
correct.
tool it's expecting, and what's the actual response, and do you use, so you just it should be um, basically we are not using any kind of evaluation metrics here, or are we using evaluation metrics here,
So
like how you're showing?
if you could see here on this page, right? So
Mm-hmm.
your flow is only one section of it. So was it correct? You did it go through the right flow? Yes or no? Was the
Mm-hmm.
context sufficient? So this is where you need LLM as a judge to look at what was pulled out and look at the question that was answered. The LLM will then read, you asked how many tabs does a spreadsheet have?
Mm-hmm.
Was it correct? Did it go to Google Sheets? Yes. Context and the response was I can't I searched 10 notebooks and I couldn't find it. Although it correctly went to Google Sheets, it couldn't find your Excel that you're looking for. So
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't sufficient. So that one failed. But didn't hallucinate, it didn't make things up, and it also didn't say any biased things or to say anything toxic. So it passed two
Okay.
other metrics as well. So when you do your flows, you have to do it. One is intent, and then two
Mhm.
is the context. It's not good enough just to say, hey, you went to the right flow. It's like, okay, you went to the right flow, but what else did you pull out? So you have to sort of create that data set. So the only thing you would be creating in yourself that you would be sort of developing is this questions and expected
Mhm.
response and flow. You can then have context grounded and safe built out by Ragas. Remember, I was showing this last time. It's an open source experiment where you can use LM as a judge.
Mhm.
And you can put things like accuracy, pass or fail. You can put context. Was it safe? Was it not safe? And you don't have to build out anything yourself. You just import the package. It's going to evaluate an AI workflow. So this is an example of what I was talking about before. This is how you would then evaluate a workflow, just using that simple response. And then how you evaluate the context is how to evaluate an AI agent here. So this is really good tutorials. And I
Okay.
would suggest reading through this. I'll pass this into your in the chat because this is really great way to look at how we're doing agent evaluations. But AI workflow and AI agent there shows you how to look at it. Basically, we'll repeat a lot of stuff that I said, but you don't have to use OpenAI. You can use Gemini for LM as a judge.
Mhm.
Um,
But this is something that will consume the tokens and all that, right? So it will be an
correct.
expense.
So that's something that a lot of people don't know in business is yes, you need tokens to create, build, doesn't take that much, but what burns the tokens is building these evaluation spreadsheets because now you're doing hundreds of questions, 200 questions, because you're trying to harden your chatbot and harden your evaluation to be more accurate, right? And you can't
Mhm.
simply just do that with 5 questions. You need a bank of questions to go through.
Okay. Last in the 101 class, you mentioned about sentence transformer model, right? So that is basically free. It doesn't consume tokens, and yet it will give you it will use the mathematical formulas um, to see how close is it to your expected response. So, is that one of the best and the cheapest way to evaluate these agents?
So that was then. And now the best way is to get a small language model.
Okay.
And use that. If you don't have any API credits, it's fine. You can just download what's smaller one on from Hugging Face. Use Unsloth to quantize it, like we did in the first class, to make it smaller. And then use
Mhm.
that to do your evaluations. And yeah, and you can use and Google Colab will bite the cost for you.
Mhm. Okay.
So
And
that's definitely cool.
I've also heard of auto eval. I'm not exactly sure what it is. Is it the same as what you're showing?
So AutoEval and these other places um, are a little bit different. Um, let's see here. I wonder if there's the it's not as straightforward as Ragos.
Mhm.
This one is more about let's see here. Um, you use auto eval when you're looking at fine-tuning large models and seeing how well the model is doing overall. But for
Okay.
AI agents and stuff like that, you have to do it's a different framework. So this one's
Okay.
talking about like auto eval is good to check like overall success rate of the model, recovery stuff, blah blah blah, right? But I definitely would say start off with Ragas. Ragas is sort of like the right go through. If you have money and and you don't want to work through doing your building your own evaluations, there are companies out there that do evaluations as sort of as sort of their niche. And they do agent evaluations, RAG evaluations. They build their own topic modeling. They build their own embedding model to check everything out of themselves, and they serve that as an extra service to individuals as well. So if people have a little bit more expend on their budgets, they can definitely propose. I can definitely propose a couple companies that I know that are going down that space and doing that as well.
Mhm. Okay. Yeah. So basically, auto eval is more for fine tuning a model, and
Not fine
Ragas
tuning, more of
is
like auto eval is more for good for like overall LLM, not agentic flows, not fine
not
tuning, but
agentic.
overall, yeah.
Okay. But Ragas is more for ensuring whether giving the right intent.
Correct. So you have Ragas has like you can do it. So the difference between them two is one's made for workflows like
Mhm.
chats. It's Ragas is made for workflows and using LM as a judge. Um,
Mhm.
Auto eval doesn't use LM as a judge. It has their own metrics. It has their own ways to determine what's success or not.
Okay. Got
Very
it.
good
Yeah.
question. Yeah.
Thanks, Luis.
No, Shanti, you had your hand up.
Yeah. So like how we can find all the libraries in GitHub. Likewise, do we have any? Do you know any website where we can see the MCP servers, hosted MCP servers?
Yeah, so in class last week, I gave you, I think, one example of that place where you can register all your MCP servers. So let me just pull
No,
that
if
up.
I want to find any, like for example, Atlassian Zira, if I want to find MCP for that, so where can I find that?
Yeah, so I'll show you. Let's pull up the website. Just give me a second.
Mhm.
Let me just go to week 3. We, we are PowerPoint. So we were talking about submitting your documents to the website, right? So if you go here, mcp.so.
Okay.
And you put this on the top. So here you don't have, these are all different MCP servers you can look up to. So example, if you want to look one for Jira,
Okay. So this is one of such website, is it? Like there could be
yes.
several. Okay.
So here's MCP servers allow LLMs to interact with Jira, Jira requests. There's a lot of them, right? Uh,
Mm.
so you can just put here on the top where you want to see, and this is why we register our apps. So
Okay.
that whether we look up the weather one, I'm pretty sure we're going to find all the
Yeah.
weather ones we just did ourselves, right? So um,
Do
those
we
are
need to have the Jira in our local? I mean, say, for example, most of us use Jira as a service, right? SaaS service. So in that case, does the Jira need to provide MCP if we want to integrate with an agent?
so remember when you think back how MCPs work. So let me just pull up the slide. I think let's do this one. This one looks good. So your data service is your Jira. In order for your MCP server to communicate and even pull information from Jira, if you're pulling it from work, you need to have an authentication token. You need to have the API keys. You need to have all that information first before it hits your MCP server, right? So when you create your MCP server, you need to have authentication tokens. You need to have all that information first, be able to pull that information. So if you don't have your admins didn't give you enough Jira, um, access and then give you enough this, then this is where you won't be able to do things with your MCP server. So you have to ensure that if you're using Jira MCP, that you do have access to do the tokens, the keys, access to be able to pull information from. Also, the system admins, so I know I met some pretty strict Jira people in the sense that they don't let you have access to anything, a lot of things in the API world. So you may have to work with so how you would start off is you would grab your Jira documentation, see what API documentation they have, and see what list of API calls are most relevant for you. Do you need to write tickets? Do you need to pull stories? Do you need to do this, do that, right? So write down the list of all the different actions you would like your MCP server LM would do from the API documentation. Once you have and you know which ones you want, you need to go to Jira on the back end and then see if you actually have access to these calls. If you don't have access to these calls, then you would have to then contact your admin, tell them, hey, I need access to this. They'll probably ask you why, and you have to go with that conversation. But as soon as you get access to those 4 calls, that's what we enabled before, right? You create an open API schema. Only choose the tools that you need, and then you create an MCP server off of that. So then you can have an LLM then now communicate with your MCP server and get the information out. But that only happens after you get the authentication tokens, you get the API keys, and ensuring that you do have access to that on the Jira side.
Okay. Thank you.
So I mean, in the last week, in the example we did, we hosted the MCP in a SaaS model, I believe, right? I mean,
Yeah.
in one of the websites. So if we want to, for a enterprise level, if you want to do it in locally, is there any framework that we can do, or do we need to standalone deploy either a Docker or something like that?
Yeah, so this is where I was going to do this Saturday. We're going to go through how to
Okay.
do something private. And this one is, I think it's in the chats. It's in the PowerPoint. But this one is Zuplo. Zuplo is a private enterprise one that has bot detection, IP blocking, threat mitigations, authentications, API, etc., etc. So then we walk through how to deploy it in a secure location. Because again, whoever owns your API owns the data that goes through it. So you definitely need a place that you'll have it.
Okay. So if I use a RAG agent, for example, I mean RAG agent as a service, basically. I use like OCI RAG as agent as a service. that
Hmm.
usually gives us everything out of the box. I just need to fill in my data into the bucket and inject it to the agent, then it do the chunking, everything. And also it has another option for us to integrate APIs. Maybe, I mean, I believe that is we can integrate either the Jira APIs and any other internal APIs or database we have.
Yeah,
So,
so if you have access to private containers that you can deploy, you can put MCP servers on there as well.
so yeah, I mean, in the context of having a agent as a service, do we still need MCP our own, or do you think that agent will have MCP create MCPs internally because it's a agent as a service? Uh,
So yeah. So remember, what are you trying to do with your agent? Your agent is your agent's either to one access information,
yeah,
um, or to work with it, right? So you need to think about, okay, what's the workflow I want it to do? I want is my agent going to create RAGs every day? Like that's the point of my agent to do. To then someone uploads documents, they'll go and do this and do this action, blah 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 blah. Remember, MCPs, what they do is you can use it to do API calls or functions, and such as querying certain tools or creating tools that already are predefined, and then it's being pulled out. So, example like SQL calls. But if you wanted to do an action through an MCP, this is where you have to create it separately and then add that to your MCP server, right? So your AI agent won't go in and create a new action for you or create a new tool call for you. It will use the list of tools available, and then act on those. So that's what you have to be very careful of, and not think that LM as an agent can go in and develop new tools in MCP servers. That's something they can't do.
okay. Basically, this SaaS, I mean, it's not SaaS basically, infrastructure as a service, especially in the OCI, I see, is a agent that they allow us to create our, I mean, configure the tools. Um, I'm not sure if we get a chance to look into that. I think Amazon Bedrock also do the same thing.
Yeah,
Um,
so Amazon just came out with their agent framework that they have. Um, but they still, to me, it's still using MCP servers to make calls and tools. Like it's not still building something big out. Um, I wrote an article on this on Medium, especially around Amazon, the new agent framework, and also how Semantic Kernel is working in Azure right now to sort of build out their Copilot framework for their agentic works. But a lot of these frameworks are to help authentication. A lot of these frameworks are to help host and secure your MCP servers. A lot of these frameworks are to help sort of harden your task and things you can do, rather than just to create new tasks. So when I went to the AWS conference, I think 2 weeks ago, and they're talking about, LMs can do this, agents can work with that, blah blah. No one talked about fully autonomous agents. That wasn't a big discussion right now because a lot of people don't trust fully autonomous agents. Because then you would let those go wild, right? And then you don't know how much tokens they're burning. There's no human in the loop reviewing what they're doing. Um, and that's something that a lot of people are scared of. So right now, everything's constrained of, here's your MCP tools. Here's the tools that you can give an LLM. Don't give them the option to create more tools. They're just going to develop and work with the tools that they have. And the humans are the ones that tell what tools are available through the MCP servers. So that's currently like our hybrid model that everyone's using right now. But who knows? And 1 year from now, it might be fully autonomous, like you were saying before. It could change into fully software as a service agents that develop and build by themselves without any loops. But yeah, that we could definitely see
yeah,
that coming.
yeah, I agree. Actually, they encapsulating so many things for us. It's a convenient to use ready-madely, but at the same time, we do not know how many tokens it's using, like what kind of chunking it is doing, and all. Like, yeah, it's a balance. Yeah.
I'm not sure if you guys seen Anthropic or know if you guys used a lot of Claude Code. But Anthropic released their top tier model, Claude Opus 4.1, and you had a subscription of $200 a month, and you can use unlimited Claude Opus. And people decided to go and use it. And what they did was they decided to create a fully autonomous framework of something called Swarm of Agents, where you give one task to different agents, sub-agents, and then they all work together sort of as a hive. And we call those hive mentality swarms, where you have the queen bee, which is your orchestrator, and then you can have then a sub-agent that does QAs, and a sub-agent that does DevOps, and another sub-agent that does software building, another one that does whatever, right? And then they all work together in unison at the same time. Obviously, you can think of how many tokens it was burning. Like 1,000, it's a lot of burning, but people were building a lot of things using this autonomous framework. That's so much that Anthropic then stopped and throttled everyone within 3, 4 months, saying no, there's some bad abusers using this, blah blah blah, because 5% of the people who are using Cloud Code are now are over abusing the limits, and you know how to use LLMs. You need to have really big GPUs, and it's constantly burning the GPUs, right? And that's thousands and thousands of dollars that these people were using around that time. So who knows if we can make LLMs run cheaper and on smaller graphics cards and make them smarter, that's definitely the way that if we can have LLMs reason and be used on smaller GPUs, or even now going back to RAM and just using RAM, and they're smarter, then we can have these things running 24/7 and not worry about it, and be fully local. So I think that's where the future is heading. And I think Mark Zuckerberg in his Meta sunglasses, he tried to put an LLM through it, but it needs to be connected to Wi-Fi. But if a smoothly smart Gemini could be thrown into a small thing like as a USB drive and then be used that way, then it doesn't need to be connected to the internet anymore, right? So there's a lot of things that could be coming in technology in the future around these LLMs for sure. What are you guys' thoughts?
Um,
I just gotta pause. I gotta put I'll connect my laptop just 1 second. You can still ask, I can still hear you.
Yeah. So last week, on Saturday, we were connecting Claude with the MCP server, right? I'm facing some issue here. Uh, can I share my screen and show you what it is?
Yes. Go ahead. Yes. Are you able to share your screen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you able to see?
Yes.
Yeah. So this is um the config I need to copy, right? And it's
Did,
exactly the same
did,
as here.
did you make it to public? Sorry, just want to make sure you go to the top of your
Are you
API.
able to see?
Yes. Okay. Yep, it's on public, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It is public.
Okay. And then you
Yeah, it's
copy.
public.
Yes. So then
And
you
this
copy
is
the pass-through bottom.
okay. Yeah. This is the pass through authentication I copied, and this is what I have here, and I replace the dollar value with just my name.
Yep.
It doesn't matter, right? What I pass, the
Yes.
value.
can you just do me a favor and just copy everything again just to do just
Sorry,
make sure.
what?
Can you just do me a favor and just copy everything again from the pass through?
Okay.
Just copy that and then just delete everything and then
Okay.
okay
And
and
this is the host.
yeah.
Yeah, that's fine, right?
Yep. So then just delete under that value, keep the $sign and put your name
Okay.
and then save.
Yeah. It's, yeah.
Okay.
Then
And let's go
I'll
back
delete
to
this.
and then close and then restart Claude code. I mean, restart.
I'll have to edit it again, right?
No, so that's already done, right? So then just close Claude.
Actually, she has dollar here and dollar not there in the cloud. Is that fine?
No, I thought the value can be anything. That's why I put, previously it was just this.
And so delete that and
Okay.
then
Then I
edit
edit.
config. Let's see. Okay, when we said copy it, just copy it again. It's right there
Okay.
on behind it. Yeah.
Or we need to change it again. Okay.
Okay, and then click save.
Okay.
So then go back to Claude code, and then
Yeah.
we just close out of it now.
I'll
So
close it. Okay.
make sure you click quit at the bottom as well when you get out of Claude code. If you see the icon, just click quit. Yeah. Okay, so then go
Oh, it
to
still shows the same
let's
error.
go back to that your developer settings. Okay.
Oh, is it because it is looking in the okay. Oh, it is user local bin.
Mm-hmm.
So it started and connected successfully. I don't understand why it closed. Is it because I don't have any space? Just like
Let's go back to the gram and let's ensure that that one's up and running.
okay.
Let's just go back there, just double check.
This it's enabled.
Yep, so click on enabled and then disable it.
Okay.
Okay, then enable it now one more time, just to make sure that if it can restart.
Okay.
And what you can do is now just copy the host.
The host. Okay, this one.
Yeah. And click on the view.
Okay.
Okay. So click add to client. Yeah, you can Cloud Desktop if that's where you are right now.
Okay. Um, what should I do after this?
Then it downloaded a file for you, right?
Yeah, it downloaded that.
So then you click click manifest.
Wait, it's a desktop extension?
Yep. So
Okay.
what you're gonna do now is Claude can use that as well as a stop extension for this.
Okay.
So you click extensions
Extensions. Okay.
and you go browse extensions and you click on the ones that we have. You just double check. There's a way to maybe it's not browse extensions, the other one. Sorry, browse extensions, the one's already created.
Here?
Let me just double check here. Add connectors, desktop extensions, manage connectors, add custom connectors. Okay, that's what you need to do. Okay, so go back to close the X.
Okay.
Yep. So then go to your name, click on your name, and then click on connectors. There's a button right there that says connectors.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. Oh, it's the same thing as this, right? Oh, okay. This one? Yeah, this is.
It should show you um hmm. No, so don't click on that one. I think there's a link. I think it's yours is on free. Close out of that X, press X off that one.
Okay.
In the bottom, click manage them here. Click that
Oh,
underneath browse connectors.
browse connectors. Okay.
Underneath that one, there's a little line that says looking for desktop connectors. Click here. So there's a little line underneath.
Uh,
Not this page. If you close this one,
oh, not this one? Okay.
no.
Oh, yeah, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the same thing.
So click advanced settings. Let me
Mhm.
try this. Yours a little different from mine.
Oh, install extension.
Yeah. So install extension, and then you click on the one that we just downloaded.
Okay. Install.
Install.
Okay. Uh,
And get this value. So scroll down.
Okay.
I think this one is
What is this value? Whether OpenAPI user agent.
from your Gram environment. So it's probably an environment, an env setting that we have to put in there for it. The reason why I wanted to check this way is because to me it seems very strange that it's not connecting,
Okay.
uh, that it's not connecting that way.
Actually,
Uh,
Luis, I had same experience as her too. I couldn't connect to actually.
so you have to set up see that top part that says set up now. If you go back to the MCP,
MCP.
so on the
Okay.
top, yeah, on the not weather API on the
This one?
top, set up yeah. So on the very top of this, you see say set up environment variables.
Uh,
So click on that. It should open up the
this
next
one.
page.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so then it's not showing that environment variables at the very top anymore.
Mhm.
Go back to always at the very top that says configure environment variables here. It's not there anymore.
Should I go back?
So click on environments. Maybe that will
Okay.
help us in there.
Or new environment. No, this is.
See, when you click new environment, what pops up?
Or should I uh or maybe it's the same thing that
You said like Open API user agent, something we set up actually for that environment variable as that
oh
MCP stuff.
this is what I should set as this value, I guess. Okay, should like this. Okay. This is what we were setting up, right? Like any value.
I think this one has to be your key. You could try. You could put that in, see what happens. Okay, maybe it says configure now.
Seems like it's done, right?
So no, you have to click configure because it's disabled.
Oh, okay. Okay. Oh,
Hmm.
hmm.
And when you click configure,
Uh,
so the thing is, I think this needs to be the environment variable we have to set up for it to
okay.
be used here.
So then I
Um,
should go here and here. Um, then-
yeah, but the part that says set up your environment set up your environment variables link was sort of at the very top, and when you clicked out of it, it disappeared. So let me
oh,
just, so we have to try now just on the left side where it says environments on the left,
mm-hmm.
and then click default, click on the default,
Okay, okay.
add your first variable,
Mm-hmm.
and then put in that variable name that shows up in your, yep,
Yeah,
and then here you,
okay. Um,
okay,
then from here, I can remove this one, right?
yeah.
Just, oh, no.
So then close out of it, just and restart Claude Code.
Okay.
I mean Claude Desktop.
Looks like the one, the service, this is the extension, this is the original one, so I'll remove
Yes.
this.
Yeah.
Okay. Uh, doesn't seem to be working.
So the same thing. So what happens is Claude says that sometimes, but if you go down to the extension, where you have like the tools right in the chat. Sorry, if you go back to the chat,
Um,
um,
oh, the chat, okay.
yeah, if you see there's a little tool button, click new chat. There's a little tool button right there at the bottom. That's like right beside the plus button.
This one.
Yeah, no one beside it. Uh, no, it's the button beside that one.
Oh, okay.
That one. So then, okay, so it doesn't. So that's the reason why it's not letting us do it. You need the pro version to add connectors. Okay,
Oh,
so that's why I was like, okay, I'm like, why is this a little bit different from that one? So it won't let us do a desktop extension connector unless you have the pro version. But if you click on manage connectors, I wonder if it will still show up the ones that we did as an extension. Well, that's really strange. What we could do is test this out by using a different, not the one that you created, but someone that maybe one of us created,
mm-hmm.
and then add that in to see if you still get the same issue. So let me see here on my edit config. So put this into your edit config
Okay.
section. I'm just gonna do quick troubleshooting.
Oh, what should I put?
I just put it in the chat.
Okay. Okay. And okay.
So I just want to see if the one that you created was not set up properly or something wrong with it.
Okay.
If that's
Yeah,
if
makes
that's true, and then if this works, then that's something that went wrong. But if it's still not configuring, then it's
okay.
something Claude Code, Claude Desktop configuration.
Mm, good. Hmm.
Okay, and then you need to restart. When you're done, when you finish, you add it in, you save the text, and then you restart Claude.
Yeah, this is already, this is
Yeah.
what, right?
Okay.
It didn't appear here. Good. No.
Okay, so then go back to your developer tools, and if that's not connecting,
Hmm.
and then that's something, yeah, then something's coming up on your log files. So let's just use Claude to figure it out. So then you click open log folder.
Yeah. I actually did ask Claude to figure it out, but it didn't figure it out. Hmm. Uh, yeah. I think others have questions. Maybe I'll keep trying in the background. So,
Okay.
okay. I think this is something we did try, right?
Yeah. So what you can do is, yeah, because I know the curl works because I can use the tool now.
Okay.
So then you just have to tell Claude, hey, the tool works successfully other locations. I feel like that it's something to add. There's something going on with my npm install. Like next step from here, what I would do is I would try to uninstall Claude desktop and then do a whole fresh clean install
Okay.
of npm because I just feel like there's something wrong with where everything's sort of being saved and not giving you access. So just be careful with that. And also, if you're working on a work laptop, there could be VPNs and things that could be blocking you as well. In
Hmm.
this case.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me go back to the questions in the chat. Okay. So Praneeth had a couple questions. In general, when you have multi-agents developed, usually there's a high chance that each agent interacts and try to come up with an answer for any query posted. Are there any audit eval frameworks to judge the quality of the OP? And similarly, what metrics are used to evaluate this? So again, this really depends on how you set up your agentic framework. If you have an orchestrator at the very top of your agent framework, depending on what you want to do, you could have an agent communicate. You can have the orchestrator only give it to one agent, or you can split the tasks between two different agents and then have them come together to give you a final answer. It really depends on how you set up your agent framework for that to happen. And like we said before, in the agent evaluation framework, and I think we talked about this in Ragas, you have to evaluate each step of each way. So again, I'll pull up the Ragas um, documentation on this. Let me see here.
So, Luis, the context here is specifically, let's say, if some, it's like, let's say, call it a technical answer, which is couple of lines, and there should be some metric to evaluate it. And let's say if I'm executing a code and if I expect a singular answer, that's a different evaluation metric, right? So, is there like kind of an industry standard to or like audio frameworks existing today, or everyone does their own way?
So this is where I was trying to show you from Ragas example. This is an agent
Mhm.
that takes a mathematical expression and needs to understand if it needs to use a tool or not. And if it does call a tool, what is the tool result? And then give it back to the math tool agent in order to get a final answer.
Correct.
So there's different, this is a loop in it has multiple decision responses, and you need to start, how do you evaluate this? So you don't have to start from scratch. Like I said before, Ragas has given you a way to start saying, hey, this is one example of how you can then break down a loop and look at the expression results. So each one will have to have an expected result, right? I need to use a tool, yes or no. It needs to be a binary response. If you don't get a binary response, the evaluation fails. If you're calling a certain tool, each step needs an evaluation process during an agentic flow. And you need to validate each one of these responses that it's doing the proper flow each time. And this is where it gets really tricky. But this is where, again, when you can use Ragas to help you do something, run your experiments, look at different metrics of correctness. Was it correct? Was it not? Did it return a result? If it did not return a result, what was the prediction? Did it give the expected response it's supposed to give at the very end? So there's non-LLM responses and there's LLM ways to evaluate itself. So like I said before, this is a good way to start thinking and looking um, of can you think about doing this without trying to build something up yourself, right? People have been trying to solve this issue for a while, and Rox has been sort of trying to push that forward.
Okay, so the suggestion is, let's say if you have 10 or 20 agents, evaluate your each agent. And again, let's say if you have an orchestrator and you want to evaluate whether it is routing to the right agent or not, are there any other frameworks or the same one will help?
The same one will help because the orchestrator, you need to be deciding what did the orchestrator give it to the right agent, right?
Yeah.
These type of and again, all this comes down to your golden data set. Like as much as you want to use AI to build it for you, your AI is only good as good as the human who makes it. So if you don't spend a lot of time in your evaluations, you won't have a good time in production. So if you have to sit down and actually put this in. So usually when I work on AI projects, I pull in one or two QAs and get them work full time on the golden data set, and then usually pull in SMEs to come and validate the golden data set. So it usually takes 2 weeks worth of work before it even sees an LLM model. And then when I talk to my clients and I talk like that, I'm like, this is the most important part of your agent, and this one will take the most time. Like building is fun, building is easy, but evaluating it and fine-tuning it, that's where majority of the work will come from.
Okay. And also one last question. So do you have any suggestions on a good front-end UIs which can be built using AI? Again, I'm not a coder, I'm a hardware engineer, but I'm looking for suggestions on what is a better UI, which is again user-friendly and easily written using AI.
This is my secret sauce I'm sharing with you guys. It's called Firebase Studio from Google.
Okay.
I can create a bunch of things with this. It helps me create front end, and I simply just ask it to, hey, build me a CRM. Hey, build me this. Hey, build me that.
Okay.
Make me an invoicer. So example, um, I don't have a lot of front end experience in terms of building React and different things like that as well. But this Firebase Studio, because I have the pro version, because I pay for like my Google Photos and stuff like that, they give you Gemini Pro, like the normal one, like the $40 one or it is, and then you're able to have up to 10 different front end developments and work stuff with them as well. So
Oh,
I use this to if I want to build a good front end system, and then once I'm done building with a good front end, simply just by prompting, I send that to GitHub, and then I build the back end separately, and then I can just connect the two at the end.
okay. So yeah. So is this Streamlit based or React based, JavaScript based? I don't know what exactly it is.
This is React and Tailwind with CSS.
Oh,
So this is actually like this is like production wise, a production like front end. Like you could even host it. You can pay to get even hosted at the very end. And they said, "Do you want to host this website now?" And we can do it in 2 seconds. So it's very productionized, and then Google takes care of pretty much that front end area itself, right? So let's see if
oh,
I could. I'm trying to show how this can pull up as an app. Um, just to walk you through the back end of it. But as you can see, I didn't build this app using any coding. I was testing it to see how well it would do just doing writing in prompts. I had to go through a lot of iterations, but I got to where I was. So like I just said, create me a CRM that will invoice people and provide low payment fees, use type of branding, use these images, do these simple flows. Here's the cost I want to do payment integrations, do this, do that, and then show how you can pay online, blah, 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 blah. And then access authorizations. So then it was able to then pull me and make me a CRM where I can then add new customers, add information in where I wanted to, create invoices, when I can then click, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and then click, say, select from my client list, use create someone, and you can have invoices that are generated within seconds and actually emailed to individuals itself too, right? So again, this is a very basic CRM front end, but again, if I go back and say, okay, I want it to look a little nicer, I wanted to put this, I want to put that, I can definitely do it. And this is all through the Firebase Studio app, which is really, really good. So I definitely recommend for those who want to get to the front end and use this type of information.
How do you connect this to your backend, Louis?
So on here, this problem called switch to code.
Oh, okay.
When you then switch to code here, and then I'll show you the front end, Tailwind, your docs, your CRCs, your apps, your hooks, your VS codes, and then you can push this to GitHub on your source controls.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, thanks, Louis.
Anyways. Siddharth, do you have a question?
Yeah, actually, that OpenAPI thing that is working in Claude. One thing is, in your demo, you showed alerts from CA. In my list, I don't have it. Is it any database change anything?
When you're on the GRAN,
Yeah.
you should have alerts because you should be pulling in 120 different connectors when you pull it in, and then you have to search for it.
Oh, I see.
Alerts.
Oh, I pulled in only one connector.
Yeah.
One tool. Okay.
Okay, yeah. You have to go, and when you click the tool, which one you want, you have to search for the one specifically alerts. So maybe that's something again, maybe you didn't do as well, or maybe you did. But if you were trying to use all the different tools, it will fail. You need to select only one tool. But again, I did on mine and it still failed on yours. So it's definitely some sort of connection
Actually, I
issue.
did only one, and then so now it shows for few states. But in your demo, you ask for California. But in my list, I don't see California list. I see other states like Alabama, PA, and all that stuff.
When you ask Claude, like,
Yeah, show me what for which region. It's automatically giving that. Okay, I can give alerts for these regions, but it is not including California.
but what if you ask it directly?
It says I don't have any information about California. It says, let me search internet. It says.
So let's see here. Did you give me the active weather alerts for the area CA?
Yeah, shall I share my screen?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. See, for example, see it recognizes that OpenAPI alerts active region, and then so it shares it is in capabilities actually, and then it gives me these states.
Okay, sorry. So if you go scroll up to the very top. Yeah, so just click a new conversation.
Right here.
It's a new chat. It's a brand new chat.
Oh, I see. One moment. Here. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, and then on the Zoom chat, I posted a question. If you just copy that and paste that in.
Okay. I
So
see.
it did work. Yeah.
Maybe, yeah, then I face it differently. I did not say active weather alerts. Maybe I said weather alerts or just alerts.
Yeah, so you have to, so because your tool is called active weather alerts, You
I
have
see.
to name it so it knows exactly. So again, when you use your tools, you have to be very worried about prompt engineering,
I see.
and how you name it will really affect how you use those tools.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, thank you.
No worries.
And then, yeah, just one question. There are so many tools, right? Smithery, Zoopla, all this stuff. Do we have to go through all of that for MCP, or is there any better?
So the thing is, everyone's building MCPs, so it's up to you where you want to pull it from, right? So again, the only thing I'll tell you when I'll talk about Saturday is where you store it and who's hosting it is the most important part. And if you're using MCP that someone else is hosting and it's public, then your information will be out there, right? It depends on what you're doing with it. So you have to make sure that if you're going to use an MCP server from someone else, understand where it's going, understand where it's coming from, and make sure you're safe.
Yep. Like there are many intermediate, like Smithery we are using, Gram we are using, then MCP.
Yeah, so Gram, so like I said, Gram was okay for open, like simple, like Google Maps, weather apps, things like that. But if you're going to use something from business and you're going to use something from that's private, you definitely don't want to do a public. You have to do a private with authentication and tokens.
I see. Okay, thank you.
So I
Quick,
already had a question. Yeah.
quick question, Louis. Hello,
Yes.
quick question. So I'm not sure whether, the MCP server is working from my cloud desktop or not. So actually, let me just, I'm just sharing my screen here. Can you see my screen or no?
Yeah.
Okay. So I got like an error here. I don't know what it is on the top.
So let's go. Let's just make sure it's configured first. So let's
Okay.
go to your name.
Yeah, we did that actually. Developer, this one, right?
Yeah. I see it there. I see it on the left side. So it looks like it's good.
Yeah. So, I mean,
So just copy it. So on the click new chat and then copy the exact same question I put in the Zoom chat into there.
this one.
Yep. Then run it.
So how do I know that it is really using this? Because I tried like a couple of other things. I wasn't sure.
Yeah, so it's not using your tool. Oh, there it is in the bottom.
Because
Actually, Luis, I got similar error message before, actually. Yes. See, now it is there, though it is there.
Yeah, so if you click on that, if you scroll down to that bottom part where it says whether OpenAI alerts active region. So yeah, you can see that it did make it made a request to your tool from there. If it made a Google search, if it did anything like that, it wouldn't show that. It would show it wouldn't show the request being sent to your MCP server. So here, yeah,
that particular API is calling like an open API.
alerts active region.
Oh, okay. So what you're saying is if I see this, that means it used the MCP server.
Yes, if you're seeing its parameters. But although as you can see here, it didn't want to. It just used PA, right? I think that one, if you looked at the reasoning, if you click on that again,
Yeah.
it's like if you're looking for West Coast alerts, I should search the PA Pacific West Coast region. And then would you like me to check that? Okay, I'll just check it anyways. So then it just pulled out everything from the Pacific area, right? From Washington all the way down below.
So if
And
it is really getting it from the internet or something, you don't see this.
yeah, you definitely don't see that. So if you ask again in a new chat and you disable your tool, you should see the difference. So if you go to click new chat,
New chat, okay.
and then on that plus, and you see there's a little plus in that little tool button right beside that one. So you
Yeah.
click on that tool, and not that one, the one beside it, and then turn off Gram
Oh,
Weather Open API, and then you type in that exact same question, and then search. You see searching the web.
oh, I see. I see. Okay. Okay. Got it.
You know the difference between which tool it's using. So this one's actually, so Claude Desktop is pretty much like an orchestrator. it will then determine which one to use. If you shut off a tool, it will then use the next tool that's available for it.
It looks like I just used a different query. What is the weather in Fremont, California? Probably that did not trigger it.
Yeah. Because again, you're doing regions, right? So I think you
Correct.
just be very general for this one. But that's
Okay.
how tools work. So just again, it's something very simple for you guys to know that what's really you have to worry about when you're doing agents is prompt engineering. You have to be very specific on how to call the tool. You have to be very specific to user names because if you misspell, you don't say the proper name, you ask a very general query, it may not hit your tooling. And this is where the evaluation comes in really handy because you need to look at all the different use cases that could possibly happen, and then make sure that your agent is actually hitting each one of them. Okay, I know
Yes,
we're
one small question. So you were mentioning for developing a UI, you showed a website, right? But in Gen AI 101, you also showed one Python package. It's a very simpler version to create a chatbot using
radio. Yes. So
using
so
Python.
So you can create chatbots, you can create very quick POCs with Python packages that are already developed, and you don't have to do anything. Like Streamlit, Gradio are the top two most used for chatbots and conversations, in which you don't have to worry about a front end, you don't have to worry about making it pretty. You can just go, and just plug and play and go. But now, if you actually want to do something production, that has security, that actually looks fancy, that has cool hover buttons and CSS, then you can't really use Streamlit or Gradio. Like they're not meant to be production. They're not meant to handle so much use cases. Especially if they're public facing as well. So then that's when you have to switch to another framework and go from there.
Okay. Mhm.
Okay, Shilpa, if you're still having issues, feel free to message me on Messenger, WhatsApp, whatever it is, and send me the screenshots, and then we can go through some troubleshooting later on if you're still getting those type of issues. But
Sure.
hopefully you have something figured out for Saturday.
Thank you.
Okay, guys, we're about 15 minutes over the time. Thank you
Yep.
for staying this office hours, and hopefully it's very useful for you guys.
Yep. Thank you, Luis. Bye.
Bye, everyone. Have a good night.
Thanks, Luis.